Developing right now on Morning News Now, diplomacy and deal-making. This morning, President Trump on his way to France to meet with top allies at the G7 summit, just hours after announcing the U.S. has reached a deal to end the war with Iran and reopen the Strait of Hormuz. Now, protests in Iran's capital and a new wave of attacks in Lebanon raising questions about the agreement set to be signed later this week.
It's been military pressure and strength from President Trump that's compelled Iran to this deal, which will be performance-based when it's signed.
We'll take you overseas for what we know about the deal and how it could impact us here at home. Also, an unprecedented night on the White House lawn where President Trump hosted UFC fights on his 80th birthday. We'll have highlights from last night's first-of-its-kind event. Plus, a deepening divide as Elon Musk becomes the world's first trillionaire. More Americans say they are barely getting by. We'll get a closer look at America's growing wealth gap. And start spreading the news. The New York Knicks are champions once again after another epic comeback in Game 5 to win their first NBA title in more than half a century. And the party has not stopped for the city that never sleeps. We'll have all the excitement as fans get ready for this week's big victory parade. We are very excited here in New York. It is all orange and blue skies for Knicks fans on this Monday morning. Thank you so much for being with us. I'm Savannah Sellers. Joe is off today. We're going to begin a new week, though, with that potential breakthrough in the Middle East as the United States and Iran say they have reached an agreement to end fighting and reopen the economically vital Strait of Hormuz. President Trump took to social media yesterday to announce that the deal is now complete and called for the removal of the U.S. naval blockade in the strait. He says this deal will bring peace and security to the whole region. The agreement, which is yet to be made public, is said to include a provision that Iran will never have nuclear weapons. That is according to Iranian media. This comes as President Trump left Washington earlier this morning on his way to France for the start of the G7 summit this week, with the war with Iran expected to take center stage as the president gets set to meet with other world leaders. We will have more on the G7 summit and this potential peace deal in just a moment when we check in with former Deputy Assistant Secretary of State Joel Rubin. But we're going to begin this morning with all the latest from NBC News correspondent Alice Barr. She joins us from France ahead of the president's arrival at the G7 summit. Alice, good morning.
Good morning, Savannah, and we're happy to bring you the view here from Evian-les-Bains this morning, one that President Trump will soon be looking out on when he arrives here for G7 talks, now likely to be dominated by word of that peace deal with Iran. President Trump traveling to the G7 in France today to meet with top allies, just as he's announced a deal reached with Iran that he says will end the U.S. blockade of the Strait of Hormuz and reopen the strait when it's signed on Friday, saying oil will flow. Mediator Pakistan's prime minister wrote that both sides agreed to immediately and permanently end the fighting on all fronts, including in Lebanon. While Iranian state media reports the deal has 14 points, including Iran reaffirming its commitment to not produce nuclear weapons, while billions of dollars in Iranian funds are unfrozen. Democrats comparing it to the Obama-era nuclear deal.
We're getting basically less than what we had under the JCPOA, which President Trump walked away from.
Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth said the U.S. has now proven it will use military force.
Obama, they begged Iran for a deal, and we bombed Iran.
Here in Geneva, businesses boarded up ahead of major anti-G7 protests, voicing frustration over the Middle East, the economy, and environmental protections. Thousands marched the streets on Sunday.
We have kids and grandkids, and so we are really concerned about what's going on.
At one point, setting a Tesla on fire. An hour away in lakeside Evian-les-Bains, France, an enormous security presence for the meetings where President Trump comes face-to-face with allies he's accused of not doing enough to help with Iran and antagonized through tariffs and trade. The president tackling tensions on the world stage straight from a very different arena where he celebrated his 80th birthday Sunday with an unprecedented UFC fight night on the White House South Lawn, part of America's 250th anniversary events as the nation faces a new era of global challenges.
Iranian state media reports that after the deal is signed, there will be a 60-day window for final negotiations focused on Iran's nuclear program and on the remaining sanctions. Savannah, back to you.
Alice, though, walk us through the remaining stumbling blocks that are still going to pose challenges to long-term peace.
Yeah, so there's, of course, outstanding still what has always been the trickiest part, which is working out the details of Iran's nuclear program, what that is going to look like. And that is going to be sorted out during the 60-day window that's still ahead. There's all of that enriched uranium stockpile that Iran still has buried under, of course, debris from U.S. bombings. What's going to happen with that? And then there's the question of Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, who, according to sources to NBC News, is looking for a meeting with President Trump to talk about this deal that includes an end to the fighting in Lebanon, something that Israel has so far resisted. Savannah?
All right, Alice, tough office for you today out there. Hope you get to enjoy it a little bit. Thanks so much. Let's now bring in Joel Rubin, former Deputy Assistant Secretary of State and the author of The Briefing Book on Substack. Joel, good morning. Thanks so much for being with us. So this agreement announced just hours before President Trump departed Washington to head there, where Alice was to head to France for the start of the G7 summit. Both sides, though, here are seeming to declare victory. So what do you make of what we know at this point about the agreement?
Well, honestly, Savannah, we know very little, and it still hasn't even been signed. Maybe on Friday it will be signed. And at least from press reporting, and most of it we're getting from the Iranian side, it looks like a pale shadow of the nuclear deal that President Obama negotiated with Iran over a decade ago. And what I mean by that is that that deal had very clear limits to Iran's nuclear program, constraints around its enrichment, dealt with the nuclear material. None of that is in this agreement. This agreement is solely about reopening the Straits of Hormuz and having the United States commit to a ceasefire. And then they'll have more negotiations about the nuclear program. And I got to tell you, color me skeptical that 60 days is enough time to negotiate this with Iran. This war has already been over 100 days, and we barely have even talked about the nuclear program in a diplomatic sense.
And another thing here, Joel, that we're certainly watching is Iran wanting a ceasefire in Lebanon to be part of any deal. Israel said it won't withdraw from the territory it holds there. I mean, what's that mean? Can the president move forward with an agreement without Israel being on board?
No, he can't. To be all straight on forward and honest on this one, from a practical perspective, the Israelis control their own security policy. And while it's important for the United States to weigh in, and we clearly can tell the Israelis our views on what they should and should not be doing in Lebanon, ultimately the Israelis need to make their own call. And this means that they should be included in any negotiation. Now, the good news is that the United States is fostering negotiations between Israel and Lebanon, and that could lead potentially to an agreement between the two governments. But the open question about Hezbollah remains on the table, and that means the Iranians have to talk about what they'll do with Hezbollah in that context. So a lot more to be done there. I don't think that it's realistic to expect the Lebanon war to just somehow magically be over because of this statement. Much more work needs to be done.
Let's talk now about the G7 summit. We just saw video a moment ago there of protesters there, obviously the president arriving. What are we expecting, especially with this news on the horizon, but also anything else that's going to be big takeaways from this?
Yeah, well, certainly this Iran agreement's going to close a bit of a chapter of what they were going to talk about at these meetings, and they'll discuss the fallout from it. But there are major issues on the global stage the United States has to deal with our allies and our friends at the G7. Even within the European context, for example, questions about Ukraine, there's still the tariffs lingering over the policy there. And of course, when it comes to Europe, the question about Greenland, where they're very nervous about the United States. And so there's a lot on the agenda. The big issue for President Trump is what kind of president does he want to be for the next 2.5 years on the global stage. His first year and a half, he's been very active and aggressive at taking on challenges and in criticizing our allies in many instances, those at the G7 included. And so does he want to continue on that? Or is he going to use this moment from the Iran agreement that he just got to try to pivot and build some cooperative relationships going forward? This is a very key meeting moving, and it will help us understand the foundation for the next 2.5 years.
Joel, what do you think could be considered a success broadly at the G7 summit for President Trump?
For President Trump to get some backing from these G7 countries for his Iran agreement would be a win. If he gets that, where they state that they are committed to supporting an agreement, that they are looking forward to working with other Middle Eastern allies on reopening the straits and getting the global economy moving, that would be a win for him. And that would show that he has been able to leverage the deal with Iran, or the agreement with Iran, into some broader global level of support. That's been lacking so far. He's really relied upon Pakistan and several other countries to negotiate. He needs to bring the Europeans in. If he does that, that would be a win for him.
All right, Joel Rubin, thank you so much. Appreciate your time.
Thanks.
Well, investigators are searching for answers after a deadly plane crash in Missouri. Authorities say a small aircraft carrying a group of skydivers went down shortly after takeoff yesterday, killing all 12 people on board. The skydiving company says it is cooperating fully with authorities as they work to determine the cause of the crash. NBC News correspondent Morgan Chesky has more.
Tragedy in Missouri. The smoldering wreckage, remnants of a plane carrying skydivers that crashed moments after takeoff.
The plane took off, and then at that point, it went down.
The company Skydive KC, who operated the plane, tells NBC News all 12 people on board, 11 skydivers and 1 pilot, were killed, saying the private plane went down near Butler Memorial Airport, roughly an hour south of Kansas City. Smoke seen billowing out of the mangled metal pieces as troopers tried to spray down the crash site. Local reporter Doug Mauger capturing this video just minutes after the impact.
When you pulled up to the scene, what struck you?
Well, as a pilot, it was quite disturbing, but I did see that there was flames coming from the wreckage and they were starting to put water on it.
The incident now marking the state's deadliest aviation tragedy since 2004. The FAA sharing a Pacific Aerospace P-750 crashed while departing from Butler Memorial Airport in Missouri around 11:35 a.m. local time, adding the NTSB will lead the investigation. The local sheriff's office urging people to avoid the area as federal agencies begin the long search for answers for loved ones grieving an unthinkable loss.
Morgan Chesky, NBC News.
All right, well, the Midwest also saw another run of severe weather over the weekend. Thousands were left without power following several days of storms in south of Chicago. Central Illinois was also hit hard with powerful winds downing trees and damaging homes. And millions of Americans on both coasts were slammed with intense summertime heat. For more on all that and everything you should know as you get your week started, we're going to check in with meteorologist Rafael Miranda for your morning News Now weather. Hey, Raf, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Savannah. Yeah, another active week ahead. Starting out today with a limited area for severe weather across Texas and New Mexico, but the south could get soaked later on today into Tuesday. Some tropical moisture here along the Gulf Coast. We'll be watching this very closely as low pressure slowly meanders its way around here. Very heavy rain at times, and flash flooding is a possibility. You can see these rainfall totals today through tomorrow, several inches of rain stretching all the way from Texas to Florida here, up to 8 inches possible in some spots. That could cause big travel issues. And look at the flood watches and warnings in effect already for Texas into Louisiana, again, for up to 8 inches of that tropical heavy soaking rain. Now, tomorrow, the severe threat moves to the Midwest here, Chicago, but still tornadoes not likely. Wednesday is the day we see that risk really bump up. For Chicago, St. Louis, we're dealing with 39 million at risk for severe storms, including tornadoes, which could be strong in some cases, hail, and also damaging winds a possibility. Again, this is Wednesday. That's when things really kick into high gear. The heat already in high gear in the Northwest here. We have heat alerts in effect for 17 million. Now, Seattle will be sizzling today. They have a World Cup match. It's going to be 90 degrees. Temperatures trending about 15 to 20 degrees above average there in the Pacific Northwest. Hot for them for soccer today for the World Cup. Tomorrow, close to record heat continues out west, and we're staying warm right through the end of the week. Now, in the Northeast, a big cool down today, much more refreshing out there. We have that contrast in temperatures below average in the Midwest and the Ohio Valley. A look at the picture for today, sunny and mild here in the Northeast and the Midwest. Again, watching that rain along the Gulf Coast. Hot out west. Heading through the rest of the week, by Wednesday, the mugginess returns here in the Northeast. You knew it would. And we stay very active in the Midwest, again, watching out for travel delays in Chicago and up towards Detroit. Above average out west. By the end of the week, we have a ticker tape parade here in New York City.
Sure do.
We also have storms in the forecast. Stormy, potentially hot and muggy Thursday. That should be interesting. Of course, people will be out enjoying it no matter what the weather. But
no kidding.
It could be a little bit exciting in terms of the weather as well, not just the Knicks.
Spoken like a meteorologist who calls it exciting. I liked the part of the country where it just says sensational.
Sensational.
Yeah, look at that. All right, Rob, thank you. I'll see you in an hour. Well, severe weather concerns did threaten to derail a first-of-its-kind event at the White House, but in the end, this mixed martial arts competition went on as scheduled. As part of President Trump's 80th birthday celebration on Sunday, more than 4,000 spectators gathered on the South Lawn for a fight card hosted by the UFC. President Trump watched cage side with UFC President Dana White. Vice President J.D. Vance and several members of the president's cabinet were also there. We've got NBC News political reporter Megan Leibowitz joining us now with more on this. Hey, Megan, good morning. So we've been hearing about this for a while. President Trump actually announced plans for this event last summer. A bunch of things that have been announced and planned for this celebration of the country's 250th birthday coming up here. And then we've also been talking about it for a bit because it was quite a sight to see what was being built, or the structure for this, the construction just in front of the White House. We've been showing our viewers pictures of that for a couple weeks now. Can you give us some of the highlights from last night's event?
Hey, Savannah, good morning. Yeah, this event has been in the works for going back to last summer. So President Trump had watched this event, which was part of America's 250th anniversary that's being commemorated with a string of events happening later this summer as well. But as you mentioned, this also fell on President Trump's own birthday, his 80th birthday. So President Trump was there. He watched this event alongside thousands of other people, including high-profile administration officials, people like Vice President J.D. Vance, people like Secretary of State Marco Rubio, FBI Director Kash Patel, as well as VIPs, people like Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg, as well, alongside active military members, too. So there were 14 fighters, including 8 Americans. And as you mentioned, you know, in terms of some of the highlights here, it was really, a lot of this was about the spectacle, the fact that this took place on the White House South Lawn in this massive structure that we have seen being built. It's 92 feet tall. It's called the Claws. So, and we've seen that, and you've shown it on the show as well to viewers. And it's really this massive structure and this massive production. And there was also a pretty hefty price tag here for the UFC. The UFC has previously said that this event would cost them more than $60 million, Savannah.
Megan, I do want to get to a couple other things out of Washington with you this morning. One is this law. Our viewers might kind of understand what have heard of this and what it may mean for them. It allows for the U.S. government to surveil foreigners who are abroad by collecting domestic communication information, okay? It expired on Friday. Lawmakers left town without extending it. It's the first time, actually, that this law has lapsed since it was passed back in 2008. So break down what this means for intelligence gathering and where politicians stand on this and renewing it.
Yeah, so it's a controversial program because critics of the program have argued that it could ultimately sweep up information about Americans or communications with Americans in the surveillance of foreigners abroad. Now, Democrats had expressed a reluctance to extend FISA because of President Trump picking housing official Bill Pulte as the acting director of national intelligence to serve in that role when Tulsi Gabbard ultimately leaves. Now, President Trump since then has said that he's going to nominate Jay Clayton, who's the U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York, for the position permanently, but he's also going to have to go through that Senate confirmation process. And President Trump has still said that that Bill Pulte will serve as the acting director of national intelligence. So now we're also getting a twist from President Trump, where President Trump has now posted to Truth Social saying that he now wants an extension of FISA, if it goes forward, to be paired with the Save America Act. He wrote, "I'm against FISA if it doesn't come with the Save America Act full version." So the Save America Act would reshape how elections are operated. And President Trump as well has said that he would want this to include things like banning transgender women and girls from playing in women and girls sports. Now, in terms of what this means for the future of FISA right now in the short term, So FISA is operating on this year-long certification from the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Court. That does not expire until next March. And so some legal experts are saying that they think that this program can continue operating until then without congressional approval. Savannah.
Megan, quick last one here for us. Republican Senator Mitch McConnell, he, of course, once served as the Senate Majority Leader. He was hospitalized over the weekend. What do we know?
Yeah, so we actually don't know that much about this right now. So a spokesperson for the senator had said in a statement that the senator was admitted to the hospital on Sunday morning and that he's receiving excellent care. But the spokesperson did not provide information about the senator's condition or why the senator was hospitalized. So still a lot of questions that we're still trying to get answers on. The senator, he's 84 years old. He's also previously faced some health issues as well, including earlier this year being hospitalized for more than a week for what was described as him experiencing flu-like symptoms, Savannah.
All right, Megan, thank you so much. Well, America's 250th birthday, as we've been discussing, is less than 3 weeks away. But a new poll from NBC News is finding that the majority of Americans have a bleak outlook on the nation's future ahead of this milestone anniversary. Well, the survey was sponsored by the nonprofit, nonpartisan group More Perfect, and it found that the majority of Americans believe the U.S. has achieved the founders' goals, but has fallen short in living up to certain elements of the democratic experience. Among the 3,000 adults polled, 78% say the American dream is further out of reach compared with the past. Just 5% of those polled say it's actually easier to attain. NBC News senior national politics reporter Jonathan Allen joins us now to break down the numbers. John, good morning. So walk us through some of the key findings here from people, just the attitudes towards the country, the president. What do we learn?
Yeah, good morning, Savannah. I find it easy to be optimistic when I see you on Monday morning. I know it's going to be a good week. But Americans are feeling pretty rough. You showed some of the figures there about the American dream. I thought what was interesting about that, 78%, of course, saying that it's harder to attain, 5% saying that it's easier to attain. But what's super interesting to me inside those numbers is that that's kind of across the board. You see that among poorer people, among wealthier people, among younger people, among older people, that's really a sentiment that a lot of people share. In addition to that, the sort of windshield versus rear view mirror look, what we're finding is that that most of the people think that the best years of the United States are behind us. 58%, 38% say the best years are ahead of us. And then, of course, in this partisan and political world, we've got the presidential approval ratings, which have been mired for a little while. But right now, President Trump's approval rating, 42%, disapproving 57%.
John, I'll slip you the 20 I owe you for that comment later on. Thanks for that. What factors are driving these numbers, John?
I think one of the big things, Savannah, according to the polling, is institutional frustration. People are angry at their institutions. If you look at how much confidence people have in the U.S. federal government, 8% say a great deal. 52% say very little or no confidence at all. So the federal government kind of taking a beating these days, not just the broader federal government, but also Congress. We know that people have joked for a long time about how useless Congress is, dating back to Mark Twain. Right now, 12% of people say a great deal or quite a bit of confidence in Congress. 33% very little, 23% no confidence at all. Take that all together, and it's pretty frustrated country in terms of how they feel about Congress.
John, we are just 19 days out from the 4th of July, 19 days out from this 250th anniversary. Give us some reason for optimism here. What were silver linings, if any, in this poll?
Slivers of silver linings, Savannah, but one of the big ones is that most people believe that fellow Americans share core values with one another, that there is an opportunity for folks to get together on major issues. So 54% of people said that most Americans share core values with each other. 44% say no, they don't. So, it's barely a majority right now, but if you're looking for those silver linings, I think you can see one there.
Absolutely. All right, John Allen, thank you. Great to have you as always.
Take it.
Well, here in New York, fans are painting the town orange and blue, as I'm wearing today, after the Knicks claimed their first championship win in more than 5 decades. This final buzzer in Game 5 of the NBA Finals late Saturday night turned New York City streets into dance floors as fans, young and old, roared over this historic victory. Seriously, the energy was electric, this elation, this shared joy. It was so real. But as NBC News correspondent Valerie Castro explains, it wasn't all positive because some of these celebrations did lead to dozens of arrests.
A hero's homecoming for the Kings of New York as the Knicks team plane landed, greeted by fans. Saturday night, New York City erupted into cheers, echoing across all 5 boroughs. Electrified by the Game 5 win and long-awaited NBA title. But the celebrations were marred by violence and destruction. Some people were seen bashing a school bus with a scooter. Several other buses were damaged and one was set on fire, according to authorities who say they were being used to transport soccer fans from a World Cup match. The NYPD reporting more than 60 arrests, at least 10 members of the force injured, and a 17-year-old was shot in the foot after gunfire rang out in Times Square. Police say the teen was taken to a hospital and is in stable condition. The fiery passion set off after a more than 50-year wait for the championship.
We did it, we hung in there, and we brought it home, baby, New York! Like, this is insane. Like, I don't know how else to describe it.
Knicks guard Josh Hart holding the game-winning trophy on the flight home. Air traffic control passing along their congrats to the team.
I want about 3 to 4 hours of sleep, but as happy as we could ever be. Congrats.
But little rest for the weary as the city gears up for more celebrations. New York City Mayor Zohran Mamdani announcing there will be a parade this coming Thursday along the Canyon of Heroes in Lower Manhattan. That will be followed by a ceremony at City Hall where the team will be presented with the keys to the city. Back to you.
All right, Valerie, thank you. That's going to be a big day here in New York. Well, the Knicks aren't the only ones to celebrate a historic championship from over the weekend. In the NHL, the Carolina Hurricanes are now Stanley Cup champions for the first time in 20 years. The Canes beat the Vegas Golden Knights 3-0 last night to claim the title in Game 6 of that series. It marks the second time in franchise history the Canes have lifted the iconic Cup, and similar to the Knicks, they put together a dominant title run of their own. The Canes swept the first 2 series and lost only 3 games throughout the playoffs. We've got much more to come here on Morning News Now. Later this hour, the world's biggest sports tournament kicking off here in the U.S. We will show you the festivities from the World Cup. But first, though, new this morning, a controversial social media ban just announced in the U.K. We'll be right back. We've got developing news overseas this morning. A large-scale Russian attack hit a historic landmark in Ukraine's capital. NBC News international correspondent Claudio Lavanga joins us now to take us around the world in 60 seconds. Hey, Claudio, good morning.
Good morning, Savannah. That's right. Authorities in Ukraine say that overnight Russia launched at least 70 missiles and more than 600 drones targeting several cities across Ukraine, killing at least 11 people and injuring more than 50. Now, the attacks set apartment buildings on fire in Kyiv and sparked a fire at a historic cathedral, one of the country's most significant religious landmarks. Among the dead are 4 emergency rescue workers who were killed by a second drone strike that hit the site of an earlier attack in Kharkiv. Let's go now to Rio de Janeiro in Brazil, where American singer Oliver Tree has died in a tragic helicopter crash. The singer, known for his flamboyant style and hit songs, was on one of 2 helicopters that collided mid-air and crashed into the city, killing all 6 people on board. Local authorities say they are investigating the incident, where representatives of Oliver Tree were not immediately available for comment. And let's end this tour of the world in the UK, where Prime Minister Keir Starmer announced people under the age of 16 will be banned from social media by spring next year. The government said Snapchat, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and X are among the platforms affected, but not apps like WhatsApp and Signal. In a statement, Starmer said a full ban is the right choice and that he's not prepared to compromise on the safety and happiness of British children. Savannah.
All right, Claudio, big news there. Thank you so much. Well, now let's get a look at the current global obsession that is now in the first full weekend of World Cup. The matches have taken place. Fans from all over the world are taking over cities across Canada, Mexico, and the U.S. and bringing their international flavor. And the best part is there are several games scheduled every day this week as the group stage kicks into high gear. NBC News correspondent Jesse Kirsch has more on this weekend's highlights from Houston.
the World Cup making history again. Curacao, the smallest nation to ever qualify, stunning this Houston crowd and scoring against four-time champion Germany. Germany ultimately dominating 7-1. But that hasn't stopped legions of Curacao fans from celebrating in Texas.
What was it like to see Curacao score a goal against Germany? Beautiful.
Curaçao's entire population, just over 150,000, could fit inside 2 NFL stadiums.
When Curacao put the ball in the net, what's going through your mind?
Yeah, man, it's explosions, bomb. It's a roller coaster of emotions. It's about letting the world know who we are and what we have to offer, and that's the most beautiful.
The weekend also bringing this stunner from down under. Underdog Australia toppling Turkey 2-0. And Dutch fans boasting bright orange on this march through Dallas before ultimately playing Japan to a tie. The international tournament not without issues. Prosecutors in Kansas City say 2 people have been charged in connection with roughly $18,000 worth of property that was stolen from Team England.
And back here in Houston, the party is far from over for Curacao and its fans. The team has at least 2 more matches to play in the group stage, and we'll see if Cinderella can keep going beyond that. Back to you.
All right, Jesse, looks like fun. Thank you so much. Coming up, it's a hidden number that could tell you more about your overall health, and you can find it when you test for something far more common. Our friend, Dr. Kavita Patel, tells us what you should know about your pulse pressure. That's next on Morning News Now. We're back with a look at hidden information contained in your blood pressure reading and what it can tell us about our heart and brain health. Many of us know the 120/80 reading that signals healthy blood pressure, but doctors say there's something else we should pay close attention to. This is called pulse pressure, and experts say it may help identify risk for heart disease, stroke, and even dementia. Let's bring in NBC News medical contributor Dr. Kavita Patel to talk through this. Dr. Patel, good morning. Great to have you with us. So walk me through this first. Just like, what is pulse pressure and how is it different from blood pressure?
Right. So think of pulse pressure as if you've got your arteries in your body as a garden hose. Think of the pulse pressure as what's happening kind of as the water is moving through that garden hose. And your heart's like a pump. So the top number in your blood pressure, which is what you just described, that 120 number that we often refer to, that's that actual pump of the heart. And then that bottom number is when the heart kind of rests, the blood's still moving. And then the way that blood is moving is considered your pulse pressure, the difference between the 2 numbers.
So somebody's pulse pressure is higher or lower than normal. It's not, I guess, in like an ideal range. Are there physical symptoms you might notice?
Possibly. So I like to think of the pulse pressure as a handshake for your heart. And it's really something that we check. You know, when the doctor checks your wrist, and they're sometimes just feeling your pulse, we're trying to feel for the health of really your pulse pressure. Sometimes it'll be super strong and we can feel it kind of rebounding, and that just gives us a little signal that we might need to check, make sure that your heart's not pumping in a way that's too fast or too high pressured. And then sometimes you'll hear even on some of those TV shows, Savannah, people say, well, it's a weak, thready pulse. So that could mean that there's actually narrow pulse pressures. That garden hose analogy, the garden hose is getting stiffer, and that means that your pulse is not necessarily as strong. So oftentimes, though, I think of blood pressure issues, we call it the silent killer in medicine, Savannah, because oftentimes there are no symptoms, which is why we encourage patients to learn how to measure these numbers at home when they're comfortably at rest, preferably at least 3 times to try to understand what their blood pressure is really doing at different times.
Why is this something that we don't talk about? The way everybody knows you're going to get your blood pressure checked and you know those numbers, 120/80, that kind of thing. Why don't we know about pulse pressure as much?
Yeah, it's a good question. So pulse pressure is often those things that we find in medical texts, but you don't hear as much. And I think it's because a couple of things. Number one, the science is still emerging on kind of what these pulse pressures mean for different diseases. We know there are some very kind of straightforward valve disorders in your heart. There's some other things that can cause some of these pulse pressure differences. But by and large, for the most part, the pulse pressure alone doesn't really tell us as much as putting it all together. And that's why you hear a lot of concentration on the numbers. But don't get anything mistaken, Savannah. You're right to bring up that we also look at the difference between those 2 numbers. And in general, the wider your pulse pressure is, we know that that can correlate to heart health, meaning worsening heart health in general. So it doesn't surprise any of us that when we talk about pulse pressure, either too big or too little, that it's a signal that something's going on in your body.
Also, I understand that there's this research that reveals a link between high pulse pressure and then this higher risk of dementia-related death in some people. So who should be paying attention to that number, and at what point is that a cause for concern?
Right. So this was a study that was done in tens of thousands of patients, and they found a higher statistical kind of correlation. So I think, one, we need to even do more research to understand precisely what does it mean? And it had to do with genetic risk factors. I think the people that should really think about this, number one, people with a genetic risk for any neurodegenerative disorder. Alzheimer's is one of the most common ones, but certainly if there are other causes of dementia, strokes in your family, anybody with a history, a family history, or even personal history of hypertension. And then I want to send a signal out to the moms out there. One of the things we're unpacking, Savannah, is that even hypertension or high blood pressure when you were pregnant can be a later indication of heart disease. So if you had that during your pregnancy, pay special attention as well.
Really good info there. What's the most important thing that people should take away from this research, or if you want to, think about lowering your pulse pressure or even understand what it is, what should you do? What should you move forward with?
Great question. I'm smiling because here's the best news. It's modifiable. So don't think that any of these things that I just told you means you're fated to have a certain type of health or that you're absolutely going to experience a certain type of disease. These are modifiable, and it's the simple things. I know it's hard, getting up, getting out, moving, even thinking about ways that you can improve your diet. We often refer to kind of a lower sodium diet for these patients. Everything is something that you can address yourself.
All right, Dr. Kavita Patel, as always, great to have you with us. Thank you so much. Important stuff. Well, the Carolina Hurricanes are Stanley Cup champions for the first time in 20 years. But as the league celebrates, many across the hockey world are also reflecting on the loss of a legend. Claude Lemieux died by suicide last month, and it sent shockwaves through the hockey community. Now, his family's decision to donate his brain for research is helping shine a light on the potential long-term effects of repetitive head trauma in contact sports. NBC News medical reporter Dr. Akshay Syal has more.
Four-time Stanley Cup champion Claude Lemieux returning to Montreal, seemingly on top of the world, revered by the crowd as he literally and emotionally lit up a stadium. But just 4 days later, shock. Lemieux's family confirming his death by suicide at 60 years old. Tributes flooding in from the hockey community. But less covered, an announcement from the family that they'd be donating Lemieux's brain to the Boston University CTE Center as a, quote, gift to science and to future generations of families seeking answers, emphasizing no conclusions should be drawn regarding any diagnosis.
It's the thousands of impacts over an athletic career.
Dr. Jesse Mess is one of the lead researchers at the center.
Just about everybody who we have found CTE in their brain has had a history of exposure to repetitive head impacts from contact sports, occasionally from military service.
He helped publish the largest ever study for deceased male ice hockey players in December 2024. In it, finding the odds of having CTE increased by 34% each year played. In the United States, CTE is often tied to football, high-profile suicides, a Hollywood movie, and years of the NFL updating concussion protocols.
We broaden the definition of concussion.
But Mez stresses that there's a risk from any contact sport, and now hockey players are increasingly under the microscope.
When you look at a football player's brain versus a hockey player's brain under a microscope, what differences do you see?
We did not see very noticeable differences.
Probably my first bad concussion would have been my first game in the minor leagues. I pretty much got probably one a year after that.
Jamie Huscroft played almost 400 NHL games over 10 years. Known as an enforcer, he estimates he had at least 14 concussions over his life on the ice.
Probably fought guys above my weight class. Did I know it was dangerous? Absolutely. But, I did it.
It was a different era when he played.
We knew concussions weren't good. We just didn't know the severity.
Now Huscroft raises awareness about concussions, talking to coaches, athletic trainers, and players at all levels.
They do a really good job of making sure that the kids self-report, and they'll even have the teammates report. Sometimes I can fool you, but when I'm talking to my teammates and my peers, they'll notice.
Huscroft credits the NHL with making positive rule changes and leveling fines for intentional acts. While concussions can be diagnosed, CTE can't be until after death. But researchers are working on finding biomarkers, similar to how doctors are now able to diagnose Alzheimer's disease.
For many, many years, we would diagnose these other neurodegenerative diseases in life without that biomarker. And I think we should be moving towards that with CTE too.
That would be done with recognizing symptoms like cognitive impairment and behavioral and mood changes, a challenge since they can overlap with so many medical issues. And Huscroft says there's still a stigma about talking about them.
I think guys pretty much they just separate from the team, right, out of pride.
Claude Lemieux was a longtime advisor for Carolina Hurricanes goalie Frederik Andersen. Speaking of Lemieux after a recent game.
He's the ultimate competitor, but he's got the biggest heart.
But now it's Lemieux's brain that could have an impact on the game for years to come. Dr. Akshay Syal, NBC News.
All right, thank you to Dr. Syal for that important story. And if you or anyone you know is struggling, please call or text the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. It's on your screen right now. It is just 988. Coming up, a nation divided as Elon Musk becomes the world's first trillionaire. More Americans say they're struggling to pay the bills. We'll look at the growing wealth gap in America. Plus, getting buckets. We're not talking about the Knicks. We are going to pull back the curtain on the new collector's item popping off the shelves at the movie theaters. You're watching Morning News Now. We are back with the widening wealth gap here in the U.S. The latest inflation report showed that rates hit a 3-year high, with the majority of Americans living paycheck to paycheck. Well, 2 days later, Elon Musk became the world's first trillionaire after his SpaceX company went public. NBC News business and economy reporter Ali Canal breaks down this uneven economic divide.
It was a launch unlike any other. SpaceX, the company started by Elon Musk in 2002, became a publicly traded company on the NASDAQ on Friday.
It is certainly hard to believe that a little company that started in a warehouse in El Segundo is now going public with the largest IPO ever.
The stock's massive initial public offering pushing the tech mogul's net worth to trillionaire status. A number so astronomical that if you stacked 1 trillion pennies on top of one another, it would take you all the way to the moon and back again twice. Current and former employees cashing in too.
Having this kind of equity has allowed us to do things like buy a house.
Robert is a former SpaceX employee who requested we only use his first name to discuss his personal finances.
This is actually going to have a generational impact on my family.
But as SpaceX employees and investors celebrate one of the biggest wealth creation events in modern history, many Americans are living a very different reality.
I can feel the inflation.
Prices continued to climb last month, hitting 4.2%. That's the highest level since 2023. A big reason? Soaring energy prices tied to the Iran war. But it's not just pain at the pump. Beef prices and groceries, rent and medical care, they're all much more expensive as well. President Trump trying to put a positive spin on the news.
The numbers were great. You know what I really love? I love the inflation.
The president later telling the New York Post his comments were taken out of context, arguing the inflation report came in lower than expected. But for many Americans, the cost of everyday life remains front and center.
Have you seen things go up in terms of price?
Yes.
What have you seen go up?
Gas prices, food prices, all that kind of stuff. Rent prices, everything. Literally everything you can imagine, to be honest with you.
And while stocks like SpaceX have pushed markets to record highs, those gains have not been felt equally.
The haves are getting really separated from the have-nots when you look at these deals. Really big. The gulf is getting wider.
As of October, the top 1% now hold 32% of America's wealth, according to data from the Federal Reserve. But for those outside of that top tier, building wealth can feel increasingly out of reach.
Do you feel like you're in a position to improve your finances over time, or do you feel stuck at all?
Stuck, for sure.
One survey showed roughly 2 in 3 Americans say they live paycheck to paycheck. A stark reminder that while America continues to create out-of-this-world wealth for some, for others, the economic reality is far more down to earth. Ali Canal, NBC News.
All right, we've got summer movie season in full swing. But lately, moviegoers have had their eyes on something other than just the big screen. We are talking about popcorn buckets. These novelty items are surging in popularity. U.S. movie theater chain Cinemark reports merchandise sales are up 40% from 2024 to 2025. NBC News business and data correspondent Brian Chung explains what the hype is all about.
Popcorn and movies, a classic combo.
Let's all go to the lobby.
But what once began as a container for your kernels has taken on cinematic extremes, from dinosaurs to fortresses. Even a Butter Birkin released alongside a certain stylish sequel.
Come with me to see The Devil Wears Prada too, but most importantly, come with me to see if I can find this popcorn bucket. Let's go.
When the Dune 2 bucket hit the market in 2024, it went viral immediately. The sandworm-inspired vessel spawning a sketch on Saturday Night Live.
Just want that Dune popcorn bucket.
Novelty popcorn buckets are seriously popping off. U.S. movie theater chain Cinemark reports merch sales are up 40% from 2024 to 2025. With a movie ticket costing about $13.50 on average, people could be spending an additional $30 to $50 a bucket. Some are going for hundreds and even thousands of dollars on resale sites.
Why are people so obsessed with crazy popcorn buckets?
So the movie-going experience for so many is grounded in popcorn, and so when you can take those sensory elements, the smell, the taste, the crunch, and add something like this, a tangible memory that you can take home with you, it takes movie-going to a whole new place.
Nell Storm is the vice president of food and beverage product strategy at AMC Theaters, which brought in $80 million in movie-themed merchandise last year.
What are the biggest, most popular popcorn buckets that you've made of all time?
The third highest is one that just released, and it's Mandalorian and Grogu. Number 2, Mario 2, that released earlier this year. So 2 of our top 3 programs have occurred this year, which is incredible.
And then number 1?
Taylor Swift. Absolutely blew the doors off for her Eras Tour film in 2023.
Some people have referred to it as a popcorn wars.
Marcus Gonzalez is the global creative director for the marketing agency Zinc Group, which created the Dune Bucket and many others.
We came up with this
Anaconda
one. So this one's designed for you to stick your hand in there, and then it closes on your hand. So one of the things that we actually developed was the world's smallest popcorn bucket, which is this little baby right here. You can fit about 15 kernels in there.
Okay. Fans sustain the hype by building collections shelves deep and sharing their reviews online. And with the summer movie season estimated to bring in $4 billion at the box office, expect the popcorn bucket to keep popping.
What are the next big popcorn buckets in 2026 and beyond?
Minions is coming up just before 4th of July. It's going to be massive. Practical Magic 2 later this year is another example of a film that it's rooted in 30 years of history. I wish I could tell you more about the next Dune vessel we've got coming this year, but
you can't share anything about that one right now.
Suffice it to say, it will blow your mind and it's going to be awesome.
Brian Chung, NBC News.
Darn, Brian, you could have broken some news there on the next Dune popcorn bucket. That was fun. Thank you. Well, coming up on Morning News Now, a little morning motivation courtesy of Mom.
I know how hectic the mornings can be. They get on the bus, they might be in their thoughts, and then they get here and they see this pool of people here to say hello, and you can just see their face just light up.
When we return, we'll introduce you to a group of moms going above and beyond to get kids hyped for school. We'll be right back after the break. We're going to end this hour with a group of women going the extra mile to make kids feel special. They created Mornings with Moms. It's a monthly event that brings encouragement and positivity to students at one Kentucky school. NBC News Now and Weekend Nightly anchor Hallie Jackson has more.
For the students at Greenwood Elementary in Kentucky, stepping off the school bus means stepping into a great day. Driving that charge, this group of Louisville women. Each month, they organize an event called Mornings with Moms, a surprise celebration to give a big boost to the littlest faces in Jefferson County.
Being a mom, I know how hectic the mornings can be. They get on the bus, they might be in their thoughts, and then they get here and they see this pool of people here to say hello, and you can just see their face just light up.
Whether it's a high five, a dance, a wave, or a cheer, Each kid gets a morning dose of motherly love.
I usually scream with excitement, but I always tell them to have a great day. No matter how your day started, we want you to start fresh.
And these kids don't just hear it, they believe it.
Only you know who you are. Push on. You're amazing.
And for the grown-ups, it's about a lot more than smiles like this.
Whether you're a working mom, a stay-at-home mom, for all of the women who show up that may not have children of their own, yet they choose to mother children. I just love that sisterhood of motherhood. And I love being able to rub shoulders with women who are walking this same walk with me.
Making each day brighter, one morning at a time.
Oh my goodness, can we have mornings with moms at all of our places of work? And that's such a pump up. I love it so much. That's great. Thanks, Hallie, for that. That's going to do it for this hour of Morning News Now. Stay with us, though. The news continues right now. Good Monday morning. Thanks so much for getting your work week started with us. I'm Savannah Sellers. Joe's off today. Right now on Morning News Now, we have a deal. President Trump, along with Iranian officials, confirming a framework for peace. The agreement is set to bring an end to the months-long war and reopen that vital Strait of Hormuz, with a signing ceremony slated for Friday. But even as the commander-in-chief heads to Europe for a pivotal G7 summit with victory on his mind, not every ally is happy with the pact. We'll have the latest in a moment. Damage control. Millions of Americans along the East Coast waking up to the aftermath of more wild weather from Mother Nature. A dangerous mix of heavy rain, driving winds, even a handful of reported tornadoes wreaking havoc on several states over the weekend. The president's White House UFC fight delayed by an hour due to the storms, and the chaos isn't over quite yet. We'll have your work week forecast coming up. Also this morning, the desperate race for answers after a skydiving plane crashed in Missouri just after takeoff, killing all 12 on board. The harrowing eyewitness accounts of the moments before impact as federal investigators comb the wreckage for clues. Plus, we can't end this hour without a proper ode to the New York Knicks and the electrified fans who helped make their stunning championship run, one the city will never forget. I can confirm, as a New Yorker who was out and about for the win, we will never forget it. It was absolutely electric here in New York. We'll get to that in a little bit. But we're going to begin this hour with the United States and Iran reaching this deal aimed at ending the war that's gone on for the last 3.5 months. President Trump took to social media yesterday to announce the agreement that he says will reopen the Strait of Hormuz and lift the U.S. naval blockade in that waterway. According to Pakistan's prime minister, a signing ceremony is set for this Friday in Switzerland. The promise of stability in the region sent global markets soaring overnight, with oil prices falling by more than $4 a barrel. It all comes as President Trump is on his way to the G7 summit in France to meet with global leaders. NBC News chief international correspondent Keir Simmons joins us now from France with the latest developments. Keir, good morning.
Hey, Savannah, good morning to you. I'm told there were 17 hours of tense talks yesterday, and there will be more talks here in Doha this week, according to a regional official. But, Savannah, this is a moment in history, potentially the beginning of the end of this conflict.
This morning, both the US and Iran claiming victory, set to meet Friday to sign an agreement ending the war. President Trump writing, "Many presidents have tried to make peace with Iran and all have failed before me," and saying the deal will be signed and the Strait of Hormuz opened on a new economic era, if Iran complies.
It's going to mean a lot of prosperity, lower energy prices for the American people.
But Iran's deputy foreign minister saying the enemy was forced to request a ceasefire. All of our positions have been incorporated. And speaking from Tehran, a former Iranian commander telling NBC News there is little trust in President Trump.
You know, Trump is the supreme leader.
While a key US ally in the region may not be on board, this morning, Israel's right-wing Minister of National Security writing, "Trump's agreement does not bind us." The announcement ended a tense day. Israel struck Beirut in Lebanon, saying it was targeting Iran-backed Hezbollah for earlier drone launches. President Trump then declaring that strike should not have happened. Now Lebanon is part of the ceasefire, mediators say. While months after he embarked on the Iran war, in coordination with Israel, Trump telling the New York Times overnight Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is a very difficult guy, and telling Axios, I let him know, he has no expletive judgment. But the breakthrough is being welcomed this morning across Europe, Asia and the Middle East, with oil prices dropping and stock markets rallying.
An Israeli official, Savannah, telling NBC News that Prime Minister Netanyahu is seeking a meeting with President Trump. Another moving part this morning, how long will it take to fully reopen the waterway so crucial to shipping, including oil exports, Savannah?
All right, Keir Simmons from Qatar for us. Thank you so much. Well, over the weekend, some powerful storms caused major travel delays and damage across the country. And looking at the week ahead, the severe weather does not appear to be letting up. NBC News correspondent Sam Brock has the latest.
Hi there. It has been a rocky combination of storms and heat smothering large sections of the country. If you're just trying to fly through Houston today, right now, both major airports are under ground stops due to thunderstorms, while more than 100,000 people are waking up with no power this morning from Texas all the way to the Northeast. This morning, Americans waking up to the storm damage left behind after a weekend of wild weather.
All the trees were down. It hit the house, it hit the truck.
Across Ohio and Pennsylvania, 5 tornadoes were reported touching down.
Look, it's coming down.
While hundreds of thousands were without power across the Midwest and Northeast, including Ohio, where wind speeds average 60 miles an hour. Heavy rain and hail coming down hard, cars trying to make it to safety through the storm. Downed trees and power lines littering the streets. And rain also wreaking havoc in Texas, the water rising quickly on the roads, flash floods trapping cars. The conditions also deeply impacting travel in D.C., where officials warned of wind speeds reaching up to 70 miles an hour, ground stops at BWI in Baltimore and Dulles airports.
We sat on the tarmac for hours.
In all, more than 10,000 flights delayed just Sunday. While on the baseball diamond, the Cleveland Guardians forced to postpone a game against the Detroit Tigers. And on its final day of the Bonnaroo Music Festival in Tennessee, musicgoers forced to temporarily evacuate with concert sets delayed.
They don't have enough staff to push everybody out. They do not have enough staff. Look at this.
With summer weather bringing a wild start to the week. In addition to heavy rain and flash flooding in the south, the next couple of days, the heat out west is a major story, with Tahoe, Portland, and Seattle all potentially looking at record highs. Back to you.
All right, Sam, thank you so much. Well, for more on what we can expect today, let's bring in meteorologist Rafael Miranda. Raf, good morning.
Hey there, Savannah. Good morning. We're easing into the work week here. Not a big severe weather day today, but that changes by the middle of the week. So let's take a look at what's going on today. A little isolated area in New Mexico and Texas, a chance for severe storms there. Not very widespread, but we're watching widespread heavy rain today into tomorrow. That could cause some big travel issues. Flash flooding a possibility. We have tropical moisture in place along the Gulf Coast. This rain continues from Texas right to the Florida Panhandle. And we're talking about several inches of rain. More flash flooding a possibility. Locally up to 8 inches, especially across South Texas. We have all those flood watches and warnings in effect. 20 million at risk for flooding over the next 48 hours or so. Then we're watching that severe weather threat. Tomorrow, it's the Midwest. We see that shift there. The Great Lakes. Tornado risk is low for tomorrow, but that changes on Wednesday. That's unfortunately looks like to be a very active severe weather day. 39 million at risk, including Chicago, up towards Milwaukee, St. Louis as well. Strong tornadoes a possibility, so we could see a repeat of what we saw last week into the weekend. And Thursday, Knicks parade in New York, maybe coinciding with another round of severe weather along the I-95 corridor. That, of course, would be the worst case scenario. 48 million currently at risk. Of course, that forecast could change over the next several days. The heat is going to be a big story out west. Again, we have that World Cup game in Seattle. 17 million impacted by heat advisories. We're talking about temperatures trending 15 to 21 degrees above average, 90 in Seattle for soccer today. That'll be hot. Close to record highs tomorrow as well. And we're staying warm into the end of the week. Of course, here in the Northeast, much more comfortable today, Savannah. Those storms last night really cooled things off. It was very hot and humid over the weekend.
Storm woke me up. A crazy storm for a bit there. Oh, and friends with canceled flights for sure. All right, Rob, thank you so much.
You got it.
Well, a federal investigation is underway in Missouri this morning after authorities say a small aircraft carrying a group of skydivers crashed shortly after takeoff. All 12 people on board were killed, 11 skydivers and the pilot. NBC News correspondent Maggie Vespa is in Butler, Missouri, near the airport where the plane took off. Maggie, this is such a tragedy. Good morning.
Savannah, it's awful. And overnight, authorities actually reopening the road around the crash site. And we're going to zoom in here because this is kind of unbelievable. That's the wreckage across the road there. That's it. Still mangled, frozen in time, preserved for National Transportation Safety Board investigators who are about to begin the painstaking work of trying to figure out why that plane, packed with skydivers, suddenly went down. This morning in Missouri, NTSB investigators trying to determine what caused a deadly tragedy just moments after takeoff. They're expected to comb through this wreckage for clues that might explain why that private plane went down Sunday morning, killing 11 skydivers and their pilot, according to authorities.
For all intents and purposes, appears to be an accident.
The crash happened Sunday morning about an hour south of Kansas City. Witnesses say the aircraft, a Pacific Aerospace P-750, struggled to gain altitude shortly after taking off from Butler Memorial Airport before making a sharp left turn, according to the airport's acting manager, who said the pilot may have been attempting an emergency landing on a nearby highway when the plane went down.
I talked to a witness who said that it happened incredibly fast.
Local journalist Doug Monger speaking to drivers who saw the crash.
She said it was very low, then suddenly it dropped and went nose first into the ground.
Aviation experts say NTSB investigators will zero in on key details.
The investigation is going to look into how this airplane was loaded, how heavy it was. They're going to look into when the airplane was last maintained. Was there a problem with the engine during takeoff?
The flight, organized by Skydive Kansas City, in operation since 1998. In a statement, the company calling the crash devastating, writing, "Our deepest sympathies are with the families, friends, and loved ones of all who were lost," adding their focus is to assist investigators and support the staff and the broader skydiving community. On its website, Skydive KC touts its impeccable safety record, and local officials say Butler's airport is a popular destination for skydivers.
Thousands of people come down to skydive. They've done really good in our community. This is just a horrible accident.
Now, back out here live, and again, that's the wreckage there. Authorities have not yet released the names of the victims as they work to notify next of kin. Tragically, they did say some family members were here and actually witnessed that crash in person. It is also worth noting that local officials have been stressing that right now this does appear to have been an accident, and they're doing that at least in part because of all the tourists flooding in and flying in for the World Cup. Matches in Kansas City begin tomorrow, so they're kind of doing their best to quell fears while noting this investigation is only beginning. Savannah.
All right, Maggie, thank you so much. Well, as the calendar ticks closer and closer to the November midterm elections, we are watching runoff races in several southern states where Republicans are hoping to hold their party seats. So tomorrow there will be Senate runoffs in Georgia and Alabama, as well as a key race for governor in Georgia. We have NBC News political reporter Megan Leibowitz here to walk us through each of these. Megan, good morning. So let's start in Georgia, where Trump did weigh in here to endorse a candidate in the Republican Senate runoff. Who's the president back in? What's the state of that race?
Hey, Savannah, good morning. Yeah, President Trump over the weekend weighed in with an endorsement endorsing Representative Mike Collins to be the party's next candidate for Senate. He said in a post, he referenced the opponent, who's a former football coach, Derek Dooley. He wrote, "I don't know Dooley and neither does anyone else." And he also said that Dooley, quote, "said that I lost Georgia in 2020 when in actuality the facts have now proven that I won by a lot." Now, that is not true. President Trump had lost Georgia in 2020 to President Biden, and he lost the election as well. But it's notable that he is using how he perceives others to be viewing his rhetoric on this in determining how he is going to endorse candidates and whether he is going to endorse candidates. So during that primary, that initial primary, Collins had finished first, Dooley finished second. Neither candidate won a majority of the vote, so that's why they're heading to that runoff race tomorrow. Now, Georgia is going to be one of the biggest races to watch for the Senate election this fall. Whoever wins this runoff race is going to face off against Democratic Senator Jon Ossoff. Now, that is important because Democrats, as they're trying to find a path forward in order to try to flip the Senate blue, Georgia is going to be a really key seat for them to be able to keep in order to try to have that path forward. On the other side of that, then Republicans are, as they're trying to find ways to block Democratic path forwards, that's going to be an important seat that they are eyeing to flip.
Let's also, in Georgia, talk about the governor's race. We've got the runoff race to be the Republican candidate tomorrow. Lay out the dynamics for us here.
Yeah, so in that race tomorrow, we have Lieutenant Governor Burt Jones. He's facing off against billionaire businessman Rick Jackson, and they're vying for the seat. That was Governor Brian Kemp. He had this seat. He's term limited, so he cannot run for re-election again. Now, Kemp has not weighed into this race. He has not endorsed a candidate. President Trump, though, has endorsed Jones in this race. He's also had tele-rallies for Jones as well. Now, in the terms of the dynamics for this race, now both candidates are trying to position themselves as the most Trump-aligned candidate. So while Jones has the endorsement, Jackson has tried to portray himself as a candidate who is similar to President Trump. He has said that he would be President Trump's favorite governor if he is ultimately elected. Now, he's a billionaire. He's also funneled about $80 million of his own money into advertisements for this campaign as well. And so the winner of that race is going to face off against Democratic candidate Keisha Lance Bottoms. She's the former mayor of Atlanta. And although Georgia is considered a battleground state, Georgia has not had a Democratic governor in the state in more than 2 decades, Savannah.
All right. And also, finally, we're watching a runoff in Alabama. Several candidates are competing for Republican Senator Tommy Tuberville's seat. How's that race shaping up?
Yeah, so in that runoff race, we have Representative Barry Moore. He's facing off against former Navy SEAL Jared Hudson. And so they're battling it out because Tommy Tuberville, the senator there, had decided that he is now going to instead run for governor. And so Trump had endorsed Representative Moore in the race. Moore had finished first in the primary. Some of the recent parts of this runoff race have focused on the candidate's military background. So with critics raising questions about the way that Moore has represented his time serving in the National Guard and in the Army Reserves as well. So, for example, one thing that has popped up in this race is a 2020 advertisement in which Moore had said that he had, quote, been in those combat boots, and Moore did not serve in combat. And so in defending those comments, Moore's campaign has said that the National Guard trains in combat boots and has also provided a link to those combat boots. But that's been an interesting dynamic to watch as we're approaching that runoff race tomorrow. Moore has also claimed that, or has also said that he has never been in combat and said that he has never claimed to be in combat, Savannah.
All right, Megan, thank you so much. We've got much more to come on this Monday edition of Morning News Now, including why those popular weight loss drugs are morphing the ways we not only shop for food, but also clothes, too. First, though, after the break, everything you might have missed from the FIFA World Cup this weekend as we look ahead to Team USA's next match on Friday against Australia. That's up next. We are back now with the magic of the World Cup that was on full display over the weekend. The excitement around the tournament is heating up as more teams kick off their first group stage matches. That includes the U.S. men's national team, which pulled off a decisive win over Paraguay in their opening match in front of a roaring home crowd. We have NBC News senior national correspondent Stephanie Gosk on set with the highlights here, how fans around the world are coming together to cheer for their teams.
Steph,
it includes you got to go to Mexico City and see the party there.
Right? Yeah. I mean, there's so many sports going on right now.
I know, it's so fun. We're so sporty here.
The U.S. men are off to a tremendous start in this World Cup, earning 3 points in their match against Paraguay. The team has already scored more goals in that one game than they did at the last World Cup in its entirety, as the excitement surrounding the tournament seems to be giving the Americans a bit of an edge.
This morning, FIFA fever has arrived as the World Cup kicks into high gear. On Sunday, Dutch fans descended on Dallas, with this orange army marching toward the stadium before the Netherlands took on Japan. That team rallying in the final minutes to pull off a dramatic tie. While over in Boston, Scotland soccer fans known as the Tartan Army celebrating their win over Haiti by taking part in an all-American sing-along. It comes after a dominant performance from the U.S. men on Friday, pummeling Paraguay 4-1 in their first match of the tournament, including 2 goals from Brooklyn-born Fuller and Balogun.
I'm over the moon, 3 goals in the first half of the opening game of the World Cup, on home soil. It's just fantastic.
USA! USA! The epic win clinched in front of a pumped-up home crowd in L.A.
This is once in a lifetime to be able to come here and experience that.
In attendance, celebrities including Justin Bieber, Tom Cruise, and David Beckham, who posed for photos with fans. All while nearly 25 million people tuned in on TV, making it the most watched game ever for the U.S. men's national team. Ecstatic fans cheering them on at watch parties across the country. Foreign fans are experiencing a sort of culture shock in the States.
Costco is even bigger than Walmart. I'm way too European for this. I'm not able to understand.
The excitement surrounding the World Cup, turning the U.S. into a cultural melting pot.
Okay, Steph, I'm loving these social media videos reactions
so
to
funny, right?
Stuff that if you think about it, you're like, okay, that is kind of crazy.
One thing we had to cut out for time was a guy glugging ranch dressing and saying, what is this?
So many people being like, we got to bring ranch back to our country. I'm like, thank you. Like when you go somewhere else and you want ranch with your food, so come on.
America's amazing. Newsflash.
Steph, what are the U.S.'s chances in the next round?
Well, they're really good, actually. So they're going to play Australia on Friday, and they haven't lost to Australia since 1992.
Wow.
And if Paraguay beats Turkey, that's it. They've won the group round, and then they go to the knockout rounds. And to put it in perspective, the U.S. was favored to come out of this group and make it to the knockout rounds. Start to really pay attention if they get past the round of 32, get into the round of 16. Now you're talking about new territory. But people were really surprised by how well they played on Friday. I mean, they really dominated that game.
We'll love to see it. All right,
get your ranch dressing. I know. And your Doritos.
Yeah, there's going to be a run on them. You better hurry. All right, coming up, we're remembering a titan of pop culture right here at NBC. Today's longtime film critic, Gene Shalit, gone at 100. We'll take a heartfelt look back on his decades-long career and, of course, his signature style and that stash. That's up next. Welcome back. This morning, we're remembering our friend and former colleague here at NBC, Gene Shalit. The longtime film critic at Today passed away on Friday at the age of 100. He spent 4 decades here at 30 Rock, where he became one of television's most recognizable faces with his trademark walrus mustache and colorful bow ties. Today, co-anchor Savannah Guthrie takes a look back at his long and storied career.
Hi there. Gene Shalit was a beloved Today Show legend. He died on Friday at the age of 100. 4 of his decades were spent right here on Today, where he became one of television's most recognizable and beloved film critics.
You know what you're looking at now, folks, is a moving picture.
With his trademark mustache, bushy hair, and famous turns of phrase.
Boldly written, percussively performed.
The spastic, elastic, iconoclastic.
Gene Shalit was as iconic as the stars he interviewed.
This is NBC, the best, Gene Shalit.
For 4 decades, he was an integral part of the Today Show team, starting as a contributor in 1970.
I'm Barbara Walters here at the NBC News Center in New York with Gene Shalit.
Going on to become Today's entertainment correspondent and movie critic.
Good morning and welcome to the Critics' Corner.
His reviews never mincing words.
2 words, Ishtar, Ishtarable. X-Men should not be taken seriously. In fact, it should be taken with 2 aspirin.
Born in 1926, Gene grew up in Morristown, New Jersey, where his parents, immigrants from Latvia, owned a drugstore. He started his career as a journalist early, writing a humor column for his high school paper, prophetically called The Broadcaster. Shalit always loved a good pun.
The Silence of the Lambs may be all wool and a yard wide, but it makes a terrific yarn.
He was a master at interviews, sitting down with some of Hollywood's greatest stars, the big, bright, and even green.
Do you think you might ever marry Miss Piggy?
He asked the questions no one else did, from the philosophical.
Meryl Streep, is there one particular day in your life you would like to live over again?
To the playful.
Could you tell me, biographically, your entire life?
Here's my whole life. I'll encapsulate it for you. Okay, I took this improv class. It was fabulous. I had a really good time.
His laughter was loud and contagious, like when Broadway star Carol Channing mimicked an English aristocrat's thick accent.
And he said, where do you go to this level? I said to Lady Astor, do you know what is Sir Benjamin saying? And she said, oh, he's saying, when you get to Istanbul, you must taste the cherries. They're as big as golf balls. So I said, well, now wait a minute. I said,
But there was nothing funnier than Gene's repartee with actor Robin Williams.
Please welcome Gene Shalit.
Take his 1993 interview for Mrs. Doubtfire.
Then we get into the nose. It became Margaret Hamilton. No! You're in the little prosthetics, too. I'm melting. The lights are hot.
Gene married his wife Nancy in 1950, and they had 6 children together. She passed away from cervical cancer in 1978. He lost his daughter, Emily, to ovarian cancer in 2012. Shalit was always a champion of up-and-coming stars, from a young Harrison Ford
Is that nice to be named after 2 presidents?
It's never come up before.
to a little-known talk show host named Oprah.
I love you, Gene Shalit. I love you.
His quirky style celebrated in regular parodies.
Those bears were unbearable.
In 2010, Shalit retired from Today, like any good movie, knowing when to wrap it up. But his friendship, laughter, and talent, we will forever treasure.
I want to thank you so much. Thank you.
Thanks to Savannah Guthrie for that wonderful look back. As we remember our friend, that was just incredible. Well, coming up, a global push to keep young gamers safer online. After the break, we've got an exclusive first look at some new tools Roblox has designed to do just that. But will they go far enough for parents to sign on? We'll dig into it next. And now let's get to an exclusive first look at the new safety features that are launching tomorrow on the wildly popular gaming platform Roblox. The company is rolling out these protections after major concerns about kids' safety and multiple lawsuits accusing the company of not doing enough to protect its young users from online predators. NBC News investigative correspondent Vicky Nguyen has more.
The Roblox Universe, a global online platform where users can play, create, and share their own 3D games. Respawn. Now entering a new phase, requiring users to verify their age with government ID or this, a face scan. AI technology will estimate age based on a user's facial features, compare it to what they entered when registering, and place them in age-appropriate accounts that allow different levels of access to chat features and games.
We want the platform to be safe.
The company's VP of Safety Product Policy, Eliza Jacobs, says kids 5 through 8 will only have access to games rated minimal or mild and won't have chat unless their parents opt in through their linked parent account. Kids 9 to 15 can access moderate games and some chat features. Users 16 and up generally won't have restrictions.
Are you ready to start? Yeah.
To see how it works, we brought in Roblox superfans. Kids ages 7 to 12 scanned their faces. And the system correctly identified all their ages. Even when 11-year-old Cole Moretti tried to use a mustache to trick the tech into thinking he was older.
We estimated your age between 9 and 12. Sorry.
Oh. Were you surprised when you couldn't fool the system?
Yeah, I was. I thought it would work.
Okay. And I tried it too.
I got my age right, and I have access to all the features.
Roblox has already rolled out some safety measures in recent months, and some users are pushing back. Its stock plunged 18% in one day after the company reported in its first quarter earnings a drop from around 152 million daily users to 132 million in just 6 months. The new measures come after Roblox recently reached multi-million-dollar settlements with Nevada, Alabama, and West Virginia over child safety.
Roblox has become a predator's playground.
Connecticut, among several other states, investigating or with pending lawsuits against the company. And more than 150 families have filed lawsuits alleging Roblox failed to prevent children from being groomed or assaulted by predators on the platform. A Roblox spokesperson says the claims about Roblox fundamentally misrepresent how our platform works and fail to take into account the extensive proactive measures we are pioneering and implementing to set a new standard in online safety. You're facing a lot of lawsuits. Are these safety measures enough?
There is no end date when it comes to safety. We will always be improving the systems, adding new technology, talking to our community. And we are working very proactively with law enforcement.
How much of the responsibility is on the parents and how much of it is on companies like yours?
Yeah, I think it's a shared responsibility. We need to build systems and tools that can give parents the peace of mind, but parents know their kids best.
12-year-old Margot Carroll says she understands the risks. Are you concerned someone might chat with you that you don't know, or strangers are going to reach out to you?
I've never experienced any of that, but I do know like stories of people getting reached out by like older men and stuff.
She's aware of the safety concerns. What do you think as a mom hearing her say that?
Well, it makes me nervous to know what kind of environment she's been subject to. I do like to hear that Roblox is taking it seriously and that there are more guardrails.
Guardrails aiming to protect Roblox's youngest players.
And Roblox says the face scans are deleted after they're processed. It says the age estimation tool typically lands within 1.4 years of a kid's exact age. And if it's wrong, then a parent can make a one-time adjustment to the age through a linked parent account. If you don't want to verify your age, Roblox says then you won't have chat access and you will have access to a limited number of games. But this is a step, they say, in the right direction. Parents obviously really appreciate it.
Yeah, age verification is a big thing, even like for Apple with being able to download apps.
Right,
They've
exactly.
like a lot of states are coming after them for that. Tell us though, because like obviously kids can be crafty and savvy, and maybe they have a parent who doesn't like know about as much as what's going on, and they ask for like somebody older than them, a parent or an older sibling or something like that. Just give them the phone or the iPad. Use that older face for this age verification system. What happens then?
Roblox definitely anticipated that, Savannah, because you know kids will come up and be like, "Hey, can I use your face for something?" And parents are like, "Okay, sure, whatever."
Right.
And so what they say is they are constantly doing a rolling check. It's a continuous age estimation system that's running in the background. So it'll compare the age on the account and the user behavior. So if you say you're 21, but then randomly you're always in the kid games for the 5 to 8-year-olds, you may be asked to re-verify your age because Roblox knows that kids are smart. They're going to try to game the system, so to speak. So their safety features are always evolving. Savannah.
All right. Well, hey, at least they thought of that. It's a good one. All right, Vicki, thanks so much.
Good to be with you.
Well, let's turn to some breaking news that we have to bring you now. A new deal announced this morning is shaking up the world of streaming television. Fox Corporation is buying streaming platform Roku in a deal valued at $22 billion. The agreement announced today gives cable-reliant Fox access to Roku's base of more than 100 million streaming households, helping it reduce reliance on traditional distribution for its sports and news programming. Fox and Roku said this merger will make the company the third largest player in U.S. television by share of viewing. We're going to turn now to the growing impact of GLP-1 drugs on the retail industry. These popular weight loss medications, they've already changed shopping habits, right? Like at places like the grocery store. Well, now they're driving changes in how people shop for clothes online. NBC News correspondent Emily Aketa is here with more. Hey, Emily, good morning.
Hey, Savannah, good morning to you. Research shows about 1 in 8 adults are currently using these drugs to shed pounds, and that means millions of people are searching for a new wardrobe. Retailers are welcoming the shopping sprees, but with so many shoppers uncertain about fit and size, retailers are also juggling an unwanted surge in returns that's proving to be very costly.
With a growing number of Americans using GLP-1s to slim down,
the really hard part of weight loss is rebuilding your wardrobe.
Weight loss drugs are also returns.
Like, I didn't realize how much the shopping part and like getting a new wardrobe would overwhelm me.
According to a recent survey, about 80% of Americans using GLP-1s say they need new clothing due to size changes. But uncertainty about exactly what may fit is causing people to buy multiple sizes of the same item and return the clothes that don't work out. The Wall Street Journal reporting GLP-1 users are overwhelming retailers with nonstop returns and costing them millions of dollars in business, writing shipping, labor, and warehousing costs add up. Impact Analytics estimates the amount of returns for sizes across the board have jumped 3 to 4% within the last 3 years, while also noting larger sizes are being purchased less, with GLP-1 usage being a major factor. Judith Simek is the co-founder of The Dress Outlet, an online shop specializing in women's formal wear for all ages. She's seen firsthand an increase in the rate of returns, up roughly 6%.
You see people buy more sizes because they're not really sure. It's also not just necessarily the size they are at that moment, but the size they are going to be in 2 months.
To offset the cost of returns like shipping, Sumexx says her company has added a restocking fee on certain items. Influencer Tanya Spanglow has lost more than 287 pounds since 2019 with the help of weight loss surgery and GLP-1s.
I'm still getting used to my body, being 7.5 years in to a weight loss journey.
She says she's still learning how to shop and dress for her changing body.
That's the problem with losing a ton of weight. Over the process, you're in so many different sizes, it's insane.
And some companies are seeing some benefits here. Online resale companies like ThredUp are actually experiencing a sales boom due to GLP-1s. ThredUp has said their inventory and sales of plus-size clothing have gone up as more people on the drugs put their old wardrobes up for sale. Industry experts also point out that clothing rental services like Rent the Runway and Nuuly could gain more customers as they lose weight and go through a period of change. Savannah.
So interesting. Just the more and more we see these impacting our society. Emily, thank you so much. Well, recent research suggests that stepping away from your daily routine for just 24 hours could be more restorative than a lot of people realize. Some experts are calling it a micro retreat. It's a short break designed to help you disconnect from the constant demands and stimulation of everyday life. Well, the goal is to reset, reduce stress. It can even boost creativity and productivity. For more on this, let's bring in science writer Elizabeth Svoboda. She contributes to Scientific America and the Boston Globe. She's also got a book coming out tomorrow on this very topic. It is called The Art of Pacing. There's the cover. Elizabeth, good morning. Thank you so much for being with us. Congrats on the new book. I'm going to ask you more about that in just a moment. But first, you wrote about these micro retreats in the Wall Street Journal. So tell us, what are they and why is it that just 24 hours away from a normal routine can make a difference?
Right. So when I was a mom of younger kids, I felt pretty overwhelmed. And so I started taking these 24-hour micro retreats, as I call them now. And for me, I felt like I needed that time to do two things, like really focus on my creative writing projects and then just rest. So I would check in early afternoon to a local hotel with my credit card points. And then I would alternate between writing and sleeping, and I would go home early afternoon the next day. And that was so much fun, and I felt so restored afterward that I've actually been doing a few micro retreats every year since with support from my family. And the great thing is you can devote that 24 hours to whatever you most need. So if you want to work on a creative thing, do that, or you can take that time to reflect, meditate, or just rest.
What does the research tell us about the benefits here and how it can really support our mental health?
Right. So in normal life, a lot of us are constantly switching between tasks, reply to that email, pick up the kids, start the laundry, jump on a meeting. And research suggests that when you get yourself out of your normal surroundings, you stop doing a lot of that stressful task switching and mental scrambling to stay on top of things. And also, if you get in a mental flow state, doing a fun project that you love, we know from research that that flow state is in itself going to be really energizing and really restorative. And that's part of the magic of this kind of retreat.
Now let's talk about your new book, The Art of Pacing. It comes out tomorrow. What inspired you here to write this, and what can readers expect?
Yeah, for years, I was somebody who really went all out. I had trouble pacing myself. And I noticed there are so many extreme cultural messages out there about pacing, like either we're being told to give 110% all the time, or the other extreme, like quiet, quit, or drop out. And The Art of Pacing shows you how to operate across the full spectrum of possible paces, instead of just ricocheting like a lot of us do from one extreme to the other. And by learning the art of pacing, you'll be able to grow and contribute in a sustainable way without burning out.
All right, love it, and congrats again on that book. Such a great idea, these micro retreats. It seems like a little something that any of us can take something from, so we appreciate it. Elizabeth Svoboda, thanks again for being here.
Thank you so much, Savannah.
Coming up, what would you do for a shot to see your country compete in the World Cup? When Morning News Now returns, we'll introduce you to the South American cyclist who really went the distance with a group of friends for a U.S. experience like no other. We'll explain up next. We're back with the story of a group of soccer super fans, I should say, who completed an incredible journey to support their home country at the World Cup. 3 friends from Argentina have been showing their love for the beautiful game in a unique way. They bicycled about 11,000 miles from Argentina to Kansas City, Missouri. Well, how long did it take? Get this, they embarked on their journey last August and spent the next 9 months biking through the Americas before finally arriving earlier this month. How cool is that? Super fan Vicente Concolini was a part of the group who made that journey, and he joins us now just one day before Argentina begins its World Cup title defense. Vicente, good morning. This is just incredible, the details here. You carried, I understand, all your summer and winter gear on the bikes. This journey took you through Peru, Mexico, several other countries. What inspired you to do this?
Hello, good morning, and thank you for the contact. My friend, he went to the last 2 World Cups in 2018 and 2022, and this is the 3rd one. And for me, it's my first one. And we love to travel in bicycle, and we love the soccer here, football for us. And we have a mix, and we did this trip in bicycle, and we love America and nothing. We are so happy to arrive here in Kansas City.
How tough was this physically to do this, to bike all the way here?
Yeah, we did this trip in 9 months and a half. You say 19 miles, and nothing. Like, we are so happy to stay here. We have the possibility to go to the match tomorrow, Tuesday, 16, and nothing. We are so excited.
Tell me about some of your favorite things you saw as you biked along the way.
The favorite things, I think the culture, the people in America, the food, the landscapes, like everything. Like after Peru, everything is new for me. We crossed 17 countries. Nothing, like we love this trip.
It's so cool. It's just absolutely incredible that you guys biked all the way here. All right, so after you got to Kansas City, you were then surprised with tickets, I understand, to Argentina's first match of the World Cup. It's against Algeria tomorrow. First, just tell me about the moment that you found out you were getting these tickets.
It's incredible, of course. Like when we arrived and we finished this trip, and we don't have tickets, but after one day, the AFA Association helped us with the tickets, and Mike Kelly for the Johnson County here in Kansas City helped us too, and nothing. Like when these people like give us that ticket, like we don't have words with our face, like we are so happy, excited, and nothing. Like maybe for these people, like it's not really important, but for us, yes, of course. Like after this long trip, like we have tickets and nothing. We don't have words for that moment.
Incredible. And tell me also just what this team means to you.
Here, the soccer in US is not really famous. The soccer, like maybe you have like another sport more important. But in Argentina is the first one. We have in the blood, in the ADN, the football, nothing. And we love Messi. We love the team. Messi for us is God. Nothing. Like it's like excuse come here to the World Cup. It's the last dessert in this trip. Nothing.
Oh, it's just incredible. All right, so the big question, you think Argentina can repeat their 2022 World Cup victory this time around?
It's possible. It's possible. I think Spain have a good team, France, Argentina, Morocco, maybe Netherlands, England, but I think Argentina can repeat the same for the last World Cup.
Vicente, thank you so much for joining us. I'm so excited for you that you're going to this game. So cool that you biked all the way here. We love to see it. Enjoy your time.
Thank you so much. Enjoy. Bye-bye.
Thank you. That's going to do it for this hour of Morning News Now, but stay with us. The news continues right now.
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.